Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. It is a pleasure having you here with me. I am in the woods and I got this beautiful stream coming through the bottom of this forested sort of gully. And it is absolutely beautiful because we got spring in full bloom right now. So you have that very intense chromatic green that I want to capture. But also, I really like how I have a lot of shadows and bright highlights from the sun that's filtering through the trees. I want to paint this area behind me here. There are a few changes I do want to make to the composition, however, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. But I think I want to feature this creek because that's sort of the most exciting thing to me about this area. So, let's get into it. These are the two main brushes I'm going to be using today. I have a larger one. This is very old. I actually don't even know what this is. It's a number 6 of something, but I'm going to use this for getting in the block in very quickly, and then this will be used for more of those details and finer marks. This is probably a number 2 synthetic bristled round brush. Got my trusty leftover paints here. Linseed oil for my medium. Alright, let me show you guys the palette really quick here of what I am going to be mixing from. We have titanium white. For the bright spring green, I'm going to be using lemon yellow. I also have yellow ochre. For the blues, I have ultramarine blue, sky blue. I'll probably be using this blue to mix with that lemon yellow for some of those really bright greens. And then we have phthalo blue. We got burnt sienna, burnt umber, and brilliant red. Those are our colors. I don't know if I'll be using every single one, but everything that I paint is going to come from those colors. All right, this is what I'm looking at. It was really hard to find a place. I kind of feel like a kid in a candy shop trying to choose, but I narrowed it down to this. And the main things I like about it are you have this stream that comes directly through like that, which I want to focus on, but also you have the bright green with the shadows running across it from these trees. So I think that's going to be really fun to paint. The changes I want to make, however, to the composition are I might want to widen this creek a little bit, because right down here in this area I have a really bright blue reflection of the sky, and if you look, we have that really pretty bright blue sky in the background behind this ridge here, and I think I want to fit that in as well somehow. So maybe I'll bring the ridge down a little bit and cut away some of those trees back in there to help that sky show through a little bit further down. But enough talk, let's get into the painting. Our canvas size today is a 11 by 14 inch canvas. It has been toned with a raw umber color. So let's get into the sketch now. I'm going to use burnt umber for the sketch. And I have had the orientation of the canvas be horizontal today. I think that's going to work best with my composition. So let's first of all get that creek put in there. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start with the horizon. We'll get the main horizon line in there quick, and then from there we'll know how to build the rest of the composition. We have our creek that follows there. I'm going to move it over a little bit. Our creek follows this line, I'm gonna widen the creek out a little bit. I'm gonna also put a line right there just to indicate this is a sort of a slope back here. Comes down like that. Flat in the foreground. And we got the ground. Oh, we got the forest actually back there first. I'm gonna put that in quick. A forest line. This is gonna be sky above it. And then we have the slope of the background come up at an angle like this, and it keeps going up off the canvas over here. We got a tree there, tree back there. We got a tree at an angle across like that. I think I want to have that big tree be right up in here somewhere. I'm just gonna stick it there for now, and if I change my mind, I can always resituate it. And we have our composition. Let's move on to laying down some color. And we're gonna mix a color for that sky. It's very blue, so I'm gonna take some sky blue, get a little bit more fresh paint here. And we're gonna combine it with titanium white. Actually, I'm just gonna put that right there to keep it as pure as I can, because this stuff, it's a mess in there. I only have this because I like to preserve my leftover paint so that I don't waste any. But let's grab some of that and some titanium white. I want the sky to be very bright and very, I want this sky to be very bright and very clean looking. So I actually want to take this shop towel here and wipe away the brown . I'm not going to put too much sky over here because I think I'm going to end up painting over that, because there's a lot of forest we're looking at back there. So it's mainly over on the right. And now I'm going to darken it up a little bit just to add some variation. Wipe off the brush, clean it a little bit. We're going to take some of this yellow ochre and I'm going to mix a color now for the background forest. Since we're done with our sky for now anyway, I'm going to mix it over here and grab some of that blue we had. Some of this burnt umber as well. Create a nice foresty color. I'm also going to take a little bit of ultramarine blue and mix it in. We'll just test that color out and see how it looks. Have it fade up into that sky. We're going to make them a little bit cooler because remember, we're still painting background. So you can convey depth very easily by just making everything a bit cooler and muted. Notice I'm working with what is furthest away and then painting my way forward in the composition. You don't have to do it that way, and in fact, I would even recommend sometimes with plein air paintings to paint your shadows in first before they change on you. Alright, now let's mix a color for that bright forest floor. I'm going to be using lemon yellow for this, and I'm just going to try that sky blue with the lemon yellow. A little bit of that maybe. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's try that out. Now, I want to reserve my brightest greens with the most yellow for the foreground because yellow really tends to make things come forward So although I am using lemon yellow in this green for the middle ground, I'm going to hold back on that lemon yellow so that I can have a little bit more of it for the foreground. And it just helps establish a sense of depth in the composition. Adding in a lot more lemon yellow for the foreground here. Now it's time to put in that stream. So I think what I'm going to do is mix a color that is a light brown. Stick it in right there, just in certain spots back there. I want to widen it out maybe a little bit too. And then the shadows going across the water are definitely a cool burnt umber. Put some of those in. There's a bit more shadow back in this area here. And then finally, way back here, it's very dark. Probably the darkest value, besides the shadows on the trees, is right back there. So I'm going to really add a lot of ultramarine blue and burnt umber to my mixture for back here. Definitely gonna need to make the stream a lot darker than these bright highlights. So I'm gonna just darken up the stream a little bit here. That's already looking a lot better. Really need to add a lot more contrast to everything because we got such a show of lights and darks going on. I want this part to be much darker. Right here somewhere we're going to put in the sky reflection. So I'm going to take sky blue, titanium white, and put this on. The hardest part right now is just balancing the values, balancing the lights and the darks. Alright, now I gotta stop stalling and put these trees in. So I'm going to start with the further away trees, which are going to be a little bit lighter and cooler. I'm just going to put some of those on. I did end up using that phthalo blue to put in these darks here, and I'm going to use it for my darkest darks throughout the painting because phthalo blue with burnt umber I've found it tends to be a powerhouse for my darkest values. If you haven't tried plein air painting, I definitely recommend it. It's very relaxing, very fun, and I always get a lot out of it. It's just very quiet, very enjoyable, and also, if you're an artist like me, there's a lot to learn from it. I want to stick some greens back in here at different spots. I think I want to darken up the foreground right here a little bit and focus my light at the end of the painting right across the middle here. Now I want to add some texture. I try to make my plein air paintings as straightforward as I can. When I'm back in the studio, I have time to think about things. I have time to plan, I have time to look at the painting and make sure that it's all working together. I can study it, but out here I have limited time, and it's going to be alla prima, a painting done totally in one sitting. And so I have to prioritize, I have to make everything as simple as possible, because the more simple you make your composition, you make what you're painting, and if you have a simple approach and you just make everything basic and you break down the image into simple shapes, colors, and values, it's much easier to capture. I can get fancy in the studio, but when I'm out here, I don't have time to get too fancy. As the light begins to change, I'm seeing a lot of really bright spring leaves in this area, and I think that would help balance my painting if I put some of that in. Alright, the light has shifted, and I'm going to need some more lemon yellow. I'm just going to basically take pure lemon yellow and begin to tap it in right up in this area. Okay, I like the way that looks. That helps it look a little bit more like spring, I think. There is actually a lot of new leaves, but they're sparing at this point. I'm putting on, as you can see here, a lot of that lemon yellow paint onto my brush so that I can get some nice impasto marks by just tapping it on here. Just a few more details here and there. That is going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. Until then, God bless you guys. We'll see you later.